Okay, we've got some bass bins and speakers for sale here. We've got two bass bins there, and then sat on top nice and high, so the treble's above head height, or about just above ear height, so you get a nice sound distribution. If you know anything about the treble, nice and high is where you want it. You don't want it down low chest height, because you're firing it through the crowd. It'll be distorted 2 or 3 people back. So 2 bass bins, 2 top speakers. Now I've connected them all up to one amplifier. The amplifier is set in a mode that one channel is bass and the other channel is mid and tops. Then the bass channel is driving both bass speakers. Now both speakers are 8 ohms each, and it goes from the amplifier into one speaker, out the back of that speaker into the other speaker. That, now I don't understand why, but that makes it 4 ohms on that channel. And same for the tops. So on the other channel on the amplifier, it comes out as middle and tops. So your mid vocals and your high pitched sounds come out on a second channel, and exactly the same, go into the one speaker, which is 8 ohms, out from that first speaker into the second speaker. When it does that, it drops it down to 4 ohms. So 8 ohms plus 8 ohms is 4 ohms. Doesn't make sense, I know, but that's electronics, that's the way it works. Now, on the back, you can't really see it, but we've got the, let's turn it round into the light a little bit more. You've got 2 plugs there, an input, and then if you want to go, you got 2 plugs there, an input you can plug into, and then an output. Now on one of the cams, one of them's come slightly loose. I'm telling you this so you know, it still works, but it's slightly loose. So what I do is, on the other cam where the both plugs are fantastic, I go into one and out from there, and on this one where one of them just needs a little bit of attention, I don't use that, I just go straight in from the other speaker. Right. So that is those in a nutshell. Now, one of the things that always happens to me is when I buy speakers, they've always seemed to have a tweeter blown. So I've devised this little test which involves a cushion. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work, but what we're going to do, I'm going to turn it up and then cover over the tweeter with a cushion so you can hear the difference, and then take the cushion away so you can hear the tweeter working. Right, that's the bass, hang on. Right, so speaker number 1. Just turn that down, and then for the bass, get a nice non-bassy bit of the track. Hang on, the bass will kick in a minute. If you know anything about bass bins, oh, there you go. So there's 1, 2. Now with bass, the way the acoustics work with bass, it's not quite so easy to do that with a cushion, because bass just disperses. They work fantastic there on speaker poles, so it's nice and height. I would say that is about 6 foot 2 inches tall on top of the speaker pole. You don't have to have them on speaker poles, you can have them, they've got top hats in the bass bins and top hats on the underside of the speakers, so you can put them on speaker poles or stands. or you can get brackets to go, proper brackets. Don't go down Wilkinson's, go get proper brackets. You can put them up on the walls of your bar, club, pub, whatever, if you so desire. Ideally as well, if you don't want to have them on the stands and you want the two bass bins, little trick of the trade, put the two bass bins next to each other. If you can have them physically touching each other and facing the same way, it's a weird audio illusion, and it basically makes the bass seem twice as loud as it is. So just for example, say that's 200 watts plus 200 watts, but you put them together, instead of being 400 watts, it sounds more like sort of approaching 800 watts. Don't know why it does it, it just does. Also, where you put your bass bins can make a difference. If you can get them into a corner of a room, brilliant. Or if you can get them on the floor so it bounces off the floor. But if you're on a stage, don't be tempted to put them at the edge of the stage where it just drops off, so they're effectively firing out into midair. Put them on the floor in front of the stage, so they're on the main floor of the room. Right, the speakers themselves, they are rated 15-inch bass bins, 8 ohms for the top, for the Kam Z15 series. They're 15-inch, 250 watts RMS. Don't be put off by these speakers that claim to be 1K. RMS is the industry standard of what you want to be looking at. They say the peak power handling is 500 watts, which you never want to take them up to there, but 250 watts is a nice to do, a decent sized room with a disco, a school hall, village hall, something like that. Drive them nicely with a nice amplifier and they will absolutely purr. Don't use a cheap horrible amplifier, because they tend to just try to knock themselves out to provide the power. So nice amplifier on them. And as for the bass bins, they are rated at 300 watts. Now they haven't specified what that is, whether it's RMS. I'm guessing they're somewhere around that, but I'm not going to say for sure, because I don't know for sure. I'd rather not say, but they're nice and powerful, and many people have done discos without bass bins. So if you add bass bins, they just add such an air of oomph, and they take the sound up to the next level. It's hard to explain doing a gig with bass bins and without. If you've never heard the difference, it takes your sound system to the next level. Right, so these are for sale. Any questions, don't be afraid to ask. They've got a few nicks and tucks, and they have been out on the road. They have been used, but well loved. One of the handles got a bit of a crack on there, but all these bits are available separately if you want. But I'd rather say that there's a few bits. But the main things that I'm concerned about is that all four of the bass drivers, the 2 in each top cab and the 2 in the bass drivers, are working fine. And the main bit, because I always seem to get caught out on this, both the tweeters are working. They're sweet, they sound as they should. Okay, any questions, just post it through eBay and I'm more than happy to help. Thank you.